Hello and welcome back to Cowboy Insiders. If you didn't make subscribe, please make subscribe, like, shares, and comments. NFL mock draft of 2026 in a Dallas Cowboy. The Dallas Cowboy target a defensive dominance in a board of new projection. As the 2026 NFL draft approaches, one thing is becoming a crystal clear across a multiple mock draft and analyst projections. So the Dallas Cowboys are preparing for defense-heavy draft strategy that could completely reshape the identity of the franchise. After another season filled with high expectations but frustrating inconsistencies, Dallas Cowboy is now entering the draft cycle where urgency meets opportunity. So there is the big trend. The Cowboys is going all in on the defense. Across several recent mock draft, a clear pattern has emerged. The Dallas is targeting edge rushers and reinforcing the secondary, adding a linebacker depth and leadership. So this isn't by an accident. Analysts believe the Cowboys defense dispute and having a star like Micah Parsons, who is still in negotiating for contract extensions, it still lacks a depth, consistency, and a game-changing support pieces, especially in a big moments. In fact, a multiple projections suggest a Dallas could use both of their first-round picks on defensive player, projected first-round target, and big names emerging. So let's deal with some NFL draft mocks in the Dallas Cowboy. Number one is a Derrick is an edge Albon. One of the most talked about name linked to the Dallas is Derrick Folk, who is a physically dominant edge defender. He is an elite strength and run-stopping ability and high upside as a pass rusher. In one recent mock, the Cowboys selected a Fork as a cornerstone defensive piece to pair with Micah Parsons. So if this happened, a Dallas could instantly create one of the most feared pass rusher duos in the NFL. Next is a Dylan Tienman. Another rising name is Dylan Tienman. He is a dynamic safety with an elite instinct, a strong tackling ability, an excellent football IQ, and also he is one who is versatile in a coverage. Some mocks project him going to a Dallas with a top picks, giving the Cowboys a true leader in the secondary. So Sonny Styles, as we have discussed in the previous video, he is an earlier projection. A Dallas has also been linked to a linebacker is a Sonny Styles. He is an elite size and speed combo, a natural leader, and high football intelligence. So analysts believe that Styles could become the defensive quarterback a Dallas have been missing. Mason Dillon is a center back. Cornerback is another key need, especially with a long-term uncertainty in the secondary. Mocks suggest a Dallas could target a Mason Dillon because of his physical coverage style, strong ball skills, and potential replacement for aging or inconsistent CBS. So amid round slips and hidden gems, beyond round one, the Cowboys are expected to find a value in offensive line depth, of protecting a Dak Prescott, and developmental defensive players. So as special teams contributors, a name like a Jacob Rodriguez and Julian Neal have appeared in a deeper mock draft as a high valuable additions. So there is many reasons why a defense is the priority. This strategy is not a random. It's based on a elite team's need. Report shows the 2026 NFL draft class is adept at the positions a Dallas needs, including the edge rusher, a cornerback, and offensive tacklers. That makes this draft the perfect opportunity to load the roster, and some mock draft even suggest a shock move. A Dallas trading into the top 10 picks to secure an elite defensive talent. This would signal all win now mentality and full trust in a current offensive core, an aggressive push towards a Super Bowl contention. The biggest picture build around a star. The Cowboys are not rebuilding they are retiring around an elite talent. Dak Prescott leading the offense, CeeDee Lamb, superstar weapon, and Micah Parsons calling the defense. The draft is about filling the gaps around this star. So based on the current mock draft trends, the most likely scenario is a round 1 edge rusher like Kendrick Fork and a defensive back safety or corner, and round 4 a linebacker and offensive line depth, and also a developmental prospect with upside. So the Dallas Cowboys are entering the 2026 NFL draft with a clear mission: build a championship level defense to match their explosive offense. So if the mock draft become reality, a Dallas could walk away with a dominant pass rusher, a smarter, faster secondary, and a more complete and dangerous team. And if that happens, the Cowboys might finally be ready to break their playoff course and change the Super Bowl himself from being a general manager of the Dallas Cowboys anytime soon. That does not mean he should not feel a little pressure to nail both of his franchise's first round picks in this year's NFL draft. It's crucial for the Cowboys to come away with a difference makers at the NFL draft number 12 and NFL draft number 20 if they want to emerge as viable Super Bowl contenders in 2026. Expect the Cowboys to think long and hard about using both of the round 1 selection on defense. The offense led by a quarterback Dak Prescott has the potential to be a top 5 unit in the NFL if their key players stay healthy. The defense, in sharp contrast, would love to secure a top half finish when the regular season is said and done. So, there are many players that the Dallas Cowboys NFL draft needs in 2026. The Cowboys require or have to sign a linebacker, the edge, and the cornerback. Nabbing a playmaking linebacker in round 1 could do a lot of the boost the unit overall of effectiveness. Securing an edge rusher to help ease the loss of the Micah Parsons could also be a top priority for Jones and his front office. Finally, landing a true number 1 in the NFL draft corner would help everyone fall into a place for a Dallas secondary. The key for Jones is to make sure he doesn't take any responsible gamble in the first round. So, if Akem Mesdo was 25 years old, the Cowboys might be justified in sprinting to the podium to snap him up to number 12 instead. He is 25 years old prospect that should be avoided by a savvy front office on round one. This is not a knock on Mesdor's ability to make an immediate impact in the plus. He projects as an above-average pass rusher who can also set the edges against the run. The problem here is that he will be pushing 30 at the ends of his rookie contract. That greatly diminishes his potential value for a franchise that needs to hit on a same second contract in this year's draft class. Taking a Mesdo out of the mix might push a Dallas out of the edge rushing market in round one, but focusing on cornerback and linebacker would be a solid pivot for the front office of the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys should let someone else grumble on a rookie who will be ordered down apparently on his new teammate from a previous draft classes. Omar Cooper Jr. is not a potential replacement for a George Pickens. It's reasonable for the Cowboys to consider taking a wide receiver in round one if they believe a George Pickens will be out of their future price range. Team like the Eagles regularly gets kudos from the media by making a draft picks to fill needs that might not pop up to another 12 months. A former Indiana standout, Omar Cooper Jr., is a good enough wideout to merit a serious consideration somewhere in a middle round one. From a pure value standpoint, he would be a reasonable draft pick for a Cowboys to consider. The potential mishap for the Dallas is that Cooper is not like replacement for a George Pickens. Some scouts think he might be able to hold up on outside, but his skill set will be much better utilized in the slot. The same can be said for the current Cowboys star CeeDee Lamb. So, no one should complain if the Dallas goes for receiver in round one, but they need to focus on player who can live on a perimeter. Cooper doesn't fit that description and could be allowed to fall to another team. A former Auburn star is relatively a young prospect who has all the athletic tools NFL defensive coordinators want to see from a draft prospect. The problem with his fit in the Dallas is that he doesn't have enough burst off the line of scrimmage to really supercharge the defensive line. Falk played outside in the college, but his lack of speed on the perimeter limited his ability to rush the passers effectively. There is a strong chance that the Lions' share of his pass rushing reps in the NFL will come from the tackle spot. The Cowboys' need on the inside is not as severe as their lack of the justice on the court side. So, also, the Dallas Cowboys want to sign to NFL draft those players from the college is Brandon Sears and Zion Young. So if you didn't make subscribe, please make subscribe of Cowboys Insiders in order to get more breaking news and NFL draft on the Dallas Cowboy. So the Dallas Cowboy on the way of signing a Brandon Size and Zion Young on round one. Finding a starting outside a cornerback in round 1 is an absolute need for the Cowboys in this year's draft. That does not mean they should reach for a lesser tier of the corner if the top tier of the defensive back go off the board before the number 12 picks. The Cowboys should instead approach this cornerback class as Jermud Emsco and Mansour Delan all boost in round 1. A Brandon Seas might appeal to some NFL decisions maker because of his excellent athletic profile, but his lack of polish should force him down into a round 2 or beyond. The Cowboys should absolutely be a player for a size and other corner on other